What is good, everyone? So we just finished up the trading day, a little bit longer than probably what we would have hoped for. But we still ended up the day positive, which is good. So I'm just gonna do a little recap on the trading day. So before market opened, we could see that we were kind of like in an area that I just didn't feel too confident in, because we had all this consolidation here. You can see that there's clear rejection from this consolidation right there to the downside, but then also we're kind of coming in up into this cluster right here, and I just wasn't feeling too good about like the shorts initially. And then you can just see the price does end up going up, but I didn't really want to participate in this long uptrend, just because we were extremely outside of the second standard deviation of the VWAP. Second, I was just not liking longs in this area. Before, I had a supply zone kind of marked out from this low up to, I would say, like this high. So I had this supply zone kind of draw it out. I'll put that in just quick red real quick. Supply. So I had this supply zone mainly because we could see that there was a whole bunch of like low volume nodes down here or out here to the left, and we could see that there's a bunch of wick rejections here. There's this rejection here to the downside. So I was like, all right, you know what? I don't really want to go long in this area. And some of the opportunities to go long within the first like 15 minutes or 20 minutes of market open did occur just below this supply zone area, and I just wasn't feeling confident enough. So instead of entering a trade for long and potentially losing it, I just stayed patient. And the next area of interest was definitely at this area. You can see that we have these wicks, and then we kind of do come back into those wicks, and we do reject that area, and you just kind of extend that zone out, and that's the exact area we start rejecting from. So I saw that, and I was thinking to myself, okay, in this area I'm also kind of looking for shorts, and it does end up going to the downside in my favor. And right now we're down more than 300 points from the high. So that just tells you something, that price is very, very volatile for today. So you got to be very cautious with your entries. And I saw this rejection. I didn't really see much entries. I did take a couple entries, but they were just break-even trades. I just wasn't feeling too confident, I guess. So I'm just going to go over the trades right now. I haven't really looked back at it. I haven't done like a little preview before I recorded this video. So we're kind of just going to go through it together, see what kind of has happened. Let's take off the chart trader. All right, so market open is right around here, this blue line right here. So you can see price does end up pretty much just skyrocketing, and then I do take a couple sell entries at the top here. Yeah, so I do take a couple of sell entries. Price does end up going to the downside. You can see that even if I didn't move my stop loss to break even, I would have gotten filled out right there. And then again, I took a short entry here, and then price does end up just going to the downside a lot. And we're just gonna go over these trades. And then I also took another break-even trade right there, and then I took a long entry down here, which I probably shouldn't have, because this was a break-even trade. Actually, I thought it was a loss. This is a trade I took here where I went long, or short, excuse me, but price did end up, I did end up getting stopped out. And then the last trade is I took an entry here, and I was able to just secure my positions as this red kind of bubble appeared. So I'll try to quickly go over as to why I took these trades. I'm not even sure why I took these trades, so we're gonna have to go back together and analyze what was kind of going on. So if we look at the 144, I'm just drawing a little bit of a fib. So we look at the 144 here. It's small. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. So we're looking at the 144. We're at that area where we're interested in price kind of going to the downside. We start to get a little bit movement to the downside here. I see that there's a strong bearish candle with some relatively strong delta ratio at the top here, and it closed bearish. So kind of just wait for that retracement up to that 50% level, which we do. Now we go back up to the 34 and we kind of analyze what's happening. So ideally what I want to happen is for price to kind of retrace back up to this 50% level, which it does, then pretty much just form an order block. And that order block we get right here, from this high to this candle low. Let me actually make it over here so you can see it a little better. That candle high to that low. So once we get a nice candle close to the downside, we have a confirmed order block. Now, I could have entered right away, but I did not want to. Instead, what I wanted to do is I wanted to wait for price to retrace back into the zone and form pretty much another order block, so I can start to see some sort of rejection. And we can see that I take an entry here. Let me zoom in a little bit so it's a little bit more clear. So we can see that I do take an entry here to the downside, and it's clear that there is no order block formed. Now the reason why I did enter early was because on the 21, I'm trying to look for it real quick. On the 21R, once we retraced back into that zone, we formed an order block on the smaller time frame. So I felt fairly confident, and we can see here, this is the same area. You can see that my entry here to the downside and my break even is right there. So we can see that if I get rid of this fib level, we can see that another tiny order block has formed right here. After we had come back into this original order block on the 34, we go down to the 21R, and I saw that we did just get that close. So as soon as this candle closed, I did enter, but unfortunately my fill was like 4 points lower, unfortunately. What I should have done is just waited for price to kind of come back up here and then, continue to the downside. Ultimately price would touch my 10 points very quickly, which is what we look for. And even if I waited for the 34R to kind of come back into this order block and try to form another order block, it does right here from this candle high to this, I don't know what happened to that fib. It happens from this candle high to this candle low down here, and we can see that we do get that close, but once price kind of comes back up, we don't get that down close candle and we get the wick above. So to me, this order block is not valid. You gotta wait for, if an order block to be valid, you gotta wait for the order block to form, price come back in, then have some sort of down close candle within it. So like here, we have the original order block, then we have another order block formed right here from this candle low to that candle high. You just wait for price to kind of come in, and once you kind of get that down close candle, you're more than welcome to just enter, or obviously you can just set a limit order as well, depending on I guess how you feel or how markets are moving. And you can see that price does just continue to drop and drop and drop. And this is pretty much what I did again here for my short entry, but I think I was maybe just using different time frames. So pretty much just utilizing this same setup over here, but potentially on a smaller time frame, like 21R. I was just looking for quick entries because also it was already an hour after market opened, so I've been waiting, still no entry. So I think I was just getting maybe a little bit impatient, potentially, but I still saw my trade opportunity. And there was also other trade opportunities previously, like within the first half an hour, but as I said before, I just didn't take it because I just wasn't liking how volatile price was moving upwards. So I just felt a little safer, just chilling out, just relaxing a little bit, which we did. So I'm just gonna move on from this break-even trade because it's just the same exact setup or concept, I mean. And now down here, I do believe I took the long entry first, right down here, just because we're kind of bouncing off the point of control of the week, the high volume node area for the week. So if I get rid of this and this, we can see that there's this whole cluster of volume right here, right here. And if we go back up here, since we're in that area of volume, there is potential chance that, price will kind of continue to the upside. So I saw that and I was like, okay, I'm down to take a long in this area. So I take that long, and it's just, I'm waiting for that same exact setup, but just on a smaller time frame. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. I'm trying to look at the 21R real quick. Let me get back. So right here, just trying to understand this entry to the upside. Yeah. So previously I talked about entering the short, but this time I was just kind of entering the long. So the reason why I entered the long there, let me see if it was based off the 144 or if it was based off of the 89. Just give me one sec. Yeah, so it was based off the 89R. So what I mean by that is right here. So here we have, let me zoom in real quick. So we're in that area of potential bouncing because from that high volume node of this current week. So I saw an opportunity. We have an up close 89R candle, some bullish ratio here, decent deltas, order flow's looking good. So I was like, okay, let me see what's happening on the 21R. So on the 21R, we have the same setup as previously with a short setup, but instead of going short, we're just going to the upside. So we're longing. So it's the same thing. We have this order block kind of filled out right there, but you can see I do take the early entry. I try to enter as soon as that order block kind of closed, or as soon as we kind of got a nice confirmation to the upside, which I can see now that was actually this candle. So I could have entered a little bit earlier because this red candle high, where is this guy? I don't know where this guy is. He's hiding. I think he's behind me actually. That's fine. So if I zoom in a little bit, we can see that this candle high pretty much matches this candle high, to be honest. They look like equal highs. But this is actually not the candle high. I apologize. What we're actually looking at is this red candle high and this candle low. You can see that this candle high does close above that candle high as well. So I definitely could have taken that entry a little bit beforehand. And I did enter, price does end up going to the upside a little bit, and it would have hit my 10 points easily. But I was already up maybe 4 points in profit, and I know price was being very volatile, so I just was not risking it. I just did not want to risk any profit. So I did just end up getting stopped out of break even, literally at this low, this candle low. My stop was at 62. This candle low is at like 61.75. So I was like a tick away from, or 2 ticks away from not being filled, which is unfortunate, but you know, it is what it is. It's the name of the game. So what I also could have done is just wait for another order block to kind of be formed inside this order block that I was looking at, and we can see that we get this one. So as soon as that candle closes outside, I could have just entered it away, or again, I could have just set a limit order here, and you can see that if I did set a limit order, then I just would have got filled right there, and price does end up going to the upside. So there's multiple ways around it. Now, if we continue to the next trade, it was just a little bit later, but it was right here, but it was the same exact kind of concept. So I'll just go over it very quickly. Which 89 candle is it though? Let's see. Okay, so same thing, we have the 89 candle and just draw the fib. Yeah, it's giving more bearish ratios, to be honest, more bearish order flow, but we still get that up close candle. But considering that we're still in that pocket of high volume for the week and pretty much at the point of control, I just felt kind of confident and okay taking along in this area. So I was just seeing what would happen. And same thing, if we go down to the 21, see what kind of happens in this area. We do disrupt this order block that's formed here. This high and this low creates that order block. It's destroyed. We touch that 50% level, so ideally, I would just be waiting for price to kind of close above here. But I did enter prematurely, as you can see, because I saw that we had a tiny high and a tiny low here. So pretty much once this tiny high and tiny low is confirmed, and we did get an up close candle, I just entered long. Probably should have waited a little bit, but it's okay. But in this scenario, if we take a look and if we waited for price to kind of break this low, then form another order block, and that order block would have been right here from this high to this low. Then we wait for another order block that formed from this low up to this high. You can see that even if we set the limit order, we would not have gone too far. Price doesn't really respect this order block, and we kind of just continued down to the downside. Just look at that drop over there. So yeah, I didn't really trust this. Just because I saw it was consolidating a little bit, I prefer to see price just kind of skyrocket. Then, just that same concept. We try to enter a short here, but we do get stopped out. The same exact concept. And then that one winner we did get is from the 233R, actually. I know, shocker. So it's the 233R. Let me just get this over. 233R with the 34R. So we can see that we get a nice disturbed order block here from this low to this high. Price comes in it, doesn't really respect it, so it kind of goes up. And we can see that we have an order block formed here. That's the high, and this is the low. Let me actually put a box around it so it's a little bit easier to see. So we get that. And pretty much as soon as we were able to kind of get that close under, I did enter short. My stop was just above this high. And again, you can see that we do get another order block formed once price does touch inside this zone. We get that candle high, this candle low right there. Let me move this over so it's a little bit more clear. Same thing, you could have just put a limit order, aim for that 101. And price does end up going to the downside, or just wait for a rejection and then price does continue to the downside. So you can also see that I did secure right down here. I was aiming a little bit lower, just like maybe a few points lower, but we were already close to 20 points. And then I saw like this red circle bubble kind of pop up. So once I saw that happen, I just didn't really feel too comfortable or confident on holding my trade. And I just wanted to kind of secure my profit, to be honest, which we definitely did. It was about a 20-point trade, which is, definitely better than the 10 points that I usually go for. But this is also where maybe I kind of fumbled the bag a little bit, just because I did move my 10 points, and you can see that when I entered short here at 720s, it goes down to like 705 area, 706. So my 10 points easily would have been hit. Then I would have seen this second order block formed here, waited for price to kind of re-enter here, or just set another limit order. Wait for price to kind of get to that 50% level or that 100% level and secure my profit for the day, like another 10 points or so. And I would say even if I didn't do that, which is what I ended up not doing, I don't know if that made sense, but since I didn't really do that, I was still made like the 20 point profit. So it's like the two 10-point profit trades in a row. But those are pretty much the only two trades that I would say I took for today. Or not two trades, but those are the only, I don't even know what I was trying to say, to be honest. We can also see here that actually it's very subtle. So within this order block, we get a tiny high and a tiny low before touching this order block. So what I like to see here is the order block is this high and this candle low, denoted by these lines. So if I draw out this tiny high and tiny low order block, we can see that we do just get a close just below this tiny low, I guess. And wait for price to kind of come back in. And I definitely could have entered once I saw price close here, and entered short, stop just above the highs or above the candle high, and my 10 points would have been almost hit. But if I was able to enter up here, then instead of entering at like 720, I would have entered maybe at 726, so I would have hit my profit a little bit sooner. But yeah, so those are just pretty much the trades I took for today. I'm probably gonna be done because got a lot of stuff to do around home, and this might be the last recording tomorrow for quite some time, maybe like 2 or so weeks at least. So don't miss me too much. I'm just going away on vacation and stuff, so I'm not too sure if I will be posting anything. But if I do, I know you guys will love it. But yeah, so those are just the trades I took for today. Just a little tiny recap. Definitely a little bit more trades than I would have preferred. Honestly, ideally, 10 trades in a row, I would like to take like every single day and have all of them be winners. But clearly that's really not the case with trading. So today we took, I think it was 4 break-even trades actually. We took 1 loss and then 1 dub, but the dub was able to kind of make more money from that loss. Like I made more money than I would have. But yeah, so like, subscribe, and just follow my journey. Peace.